Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We are so excited to have you again. What Nigerians have passed through in the hands of Fulani herders, from all indication, is the tip of the iceberg. And I'm saying this because of the information, the news you're going to hear right now, which is coming from the Macban president to the Arewa Consultative Forum president. I mean, it's really a shocking information. As I'm talking to you right now, we have not less than 30 million Fulanis in Nigeria, and they believe that Nigeria is the only one that can solve their problem. And shockingly, they also made us understand that in the next 10 to 20 years, what we expect, which is peace in this country, is not going to be possible, because if their problems are not being settled, then we should be ready to see more of what is currently happening in the country. But before we continue with details of the news and further analysis, I'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you can get notification anytime we publish our news. All right, let's first of all look at the news in detail. The chieftain of the Miyetti Cattle Breeders Association, Macban, have alleged that due to the lack of education of the Fulani children, those who are dealing on drugs and other merchants of crime use the Fulani to perpetuate crime and banditry in Nigeria. Speaking at the headquarters of the Arewa Consultative Forum ACF in Kaduna on Thursday during the National Executive Council or meeting of the forum, the National Secretary of Macban, Alhaji Baba Okman Ngelzama, said they have come to ACF, which is now the father of Fulani in Nigeria, as the prevailing situation in the country has turned them into orphans with no home. He said Macban came to meet the ACF to narrate the plight of 30 million Fulanis in present-day Nigeria. Chairman of the ACF, Chief Audu Ogbe, assured Macban that they would look into their grievances and approach the relevant authorities. According to Ngelzama, the ignorance of the herders and pastoralists is being exploited by crime merchants and those dealing on drugs in the country who supply herders drugs. He alleged that these crime merchants collected the millions in ransom and only dropped peanuts for the foot soldiers. He therefore warned that unless the Fulani are put together in the grazing reserve, the country may not have peace. In the next 10 years, according to him, he said, let me quote, according to him, he said that in the next 10 to 20 years, if the problem is not resolved, nobody can travel within and around Nigeria because the herders are scattered all over. According to him, they also came to seek for ACF support to put pressure on the federal and the state government to immediately accommodate all the Fulani herders and pastoralists in the 400 grazing reserve in the north to avert a imminent catastrophe. Macban said that apart from the 400 grazing reserve in the north, there were others in the south, including Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos State. He said if the facilities are made operational, this will put an end to the food crisis and security challenges currently facing the nation. The only solution to Nigerian problem is to accommodate all the Fulani herders and pastoralists in the grazing reserve with the provision of modern facilities, he said. ACF, he said, must put heads together with Macban in ensuring an end to herders-farmer crisis and the general insecurity in Nigeria. He said the government should bring all Fulani pastoralists together in the grazing reserve and provide them with educational, health, and other social amenities. He said the level of insecurity in the country was linked to kidnapping and armed banditry, which affected the economic life of the country. The government should see to settling the pastoralists in the grazing reserve and avoid the present situation where they are scattered all over the country. This is the cause of the problem we have today. These pastoralists should be provided the necessary educational, health, and other facilities in the grazing reserve when their status improves. This will boost their productivity capacity and the productivity of the country. The operation of the grazing reserve should be carried out as urgent as possible. Lagos State alone consumes 6,000 cows on daily basis, while 250 lorries of cows enter into southern part of the country on daily basis. But because of the poor management of the herders' crisis, that is why we are where we are today. If we want an end to the problem, the 400 grazing reserve in the northern state should be put to use and developed better. We have 3 in Oyo, Ogun, and Lagos. If the grazing reserve are utilized, half the problem will be resolved. He said that the Fulani pastoralists have lost over 4 million cows since the crisis started in the country, stressing that the problem is not a problem of the north alone, but that of the entire Nigeria. This is very serious. I mean, this is a serious situation for the country right now. I want to be very objective in my discussion, and I want to point out some things which I want you to note. Now, we thought that, or let me, not myself, I think Nigeria thought that ESN was a bigger evil, but right now, the worst is waiting for us. ESN is nothing to be compared to what these guys are having in mind. IPOP has no issue considering what these people have in mind for the country. I don't know how this all happened, looking at the current situation of things, which means whatever we are currently going through in this country is a deliberate ploy on the part of those people to ensure that we look their way and solve the problem of the Fulanis in Nigeria. Now, before now, the number of Fulanis were not this much. The way I'm seeing this whole thing is like they're migrating from all parts of the world down to Nigeria to find solace here in this country. And based on what they have said, looking at it ordinarily, we are looking at some good billions of naira before this issue can be settled. It's really serious. I mean, it is really serious. Which means even the issue of restructuring that we are talking about may not even be possible, because if you listen to what they say, they have made up their mind to ensure that Nigeria will enjoy little or no peace except they wake up and take up the provision of grazing reserve as a responsibility, the provision of health facilities, educational facilities, and others as a responsibility for them. We have to take it up and ensure that it is provided. Whether we are going to go about it, that's our business. And the shocking aspect of it is they have even given a timeline and said the next 10 to 20 years, Nigeria will have little or no peace until we solve that problem. And the question is, how did this all start? I don't know. And that's why when someone keep talking about an Fulani man coming into the position of presidency when this current administration come to an end, I said a big no to it, because from all indication, it's not an issue of just having grazing reserve. From all indication, Nigeria is seen as a place that they must find solace in, no matter whether we like it or not. Other people can be living poor, other people can be living below average economic life, but for them it must be superb. That which is their original productive line must be fully maintained, provided for, whether we like it or not. Oh, it's really troubling. 10 to 20 years, no hope of peace. No wonder we are seeing so much push from different quarters for people to secede from this country, because if we are looking at Nigeria as one body, it therefore means we will stay without peace for the next 10 to 20 years if the government of the day does not sit back and see how their problems can be solved. You understand? So it's not just, they're not looking at the problem being solved by a particular, it's meant to be solved by Nigeria. Now, the question is, what they are currently passing through, are other parts of the country not passing through it? As far as I'm concerned, in Nigeria, education is free for all. I'm telling you, in the Southeast, they pay even more. Their students have to study more harder before they have admission into the university. But here they are still struggling. They are making use of their competence and their ingenuity to ensure that no matter how horrible the economic situation is, they still find a way out. An Igbo man, a Yoruba man, and a South man can survive and adapt to any economic situation. Instead of that, he doesn't mind carrying pong pong on his head to ensure that he earns a living. But imagine what these guys are saying is, whether we like it or not, we have to go by their rules, which is grazing reserve must be made available before peace can return to Nigeria. It's a very serious issue. I mean, with what have been said, I think that relevant authorities need to wake up and do the needful. If we cannot restructure at this point, I don't know what the future will look like, because that's the only thing. If we want to still maintain one Nigeria, we've got to restructure. Else, maybe some other options which may suffice at this point. I'd like to leave you there. Go to our comment section, let's interact. What do you have to say about what the